Hey, good morning and happy Friday to you on this 21st day of July. I'm Greg McQuaid. Thanks for watching CBS 6's Virginia This Morning. And I am in the CBS 6 Annex Kitchen right now with Tammy Brawley, executive chef, personal chef. She does it all. Tammy, it's wonderful to see you today.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
Short sleeves, where we're going to get to.
Oh, yeah, definitely some short sleeves.
You brought some ankle on, too. We're going to get to that in a little while. But, all right, this is really interesting. You're going to be doing some salt slab cooking.
Mm-hmm.
What is a salt slab?
Well, when you first purchase them, they actually look like these gorgeous little pieces here in the front. They are salt. They're cut from the Himalayan salt mines. They're gorgeous when you first purchase them. Then you start cooking on them, and they're not so pretty, but they taste delicious.
Well, all the prettiness goes into the food.
Exactly. So it is, first of all, I did not bring any salt to add to anything today.
Okay.
Because this is going to pick up a nice, they are heavy, they're very heavy. They pick up a nice little subtle salt balance on whatever you do. This happens to be a cold presentation that we're going to cover a little bit later. But right now we're going to actually do a hot presentation with them.
With a salt slab. So they're very versatile.
Very versatile, and you're about to see a big difference here. The salt slabs can either be left on the grill or they can be left in the oven. Some chefs use that to cook. I actually like to take them out and put them on something to show my guest, and kind of a novel way of cooking. So what we've been doing is we've been warming these up on the grill. Now you can see they're not quite so pretty anymore. No, but they're also extremely hot.
It looks like a piece of asphalt.
It does look like a piece of asphalt, but the great thing is that it, because it is salt, by the way, and salt is a preservative, it does not pick up any bacteria. So you can actually wash these, not with soap, I'll get into that in a little bit, but you wash these with a little bit of warm water, and then you can cook on them again and again.
When you are cooking with these, Tammy, when you put them on the grill to get them to this temperature where they are smoking, how long have they been sitting on the grill?
At least an hour.
More than an hour?
More than an
hour.
At least an hour. You want them to get up to about 500 degrees or so, but you want to warm them either on the grill or in the oven together.
Okay.
So what I've got here is I've got two different things that I love to work with on the salt slab, is a skirt steak and some scallops. Skirt steak is a little bit fattier, my actual favorite. I love doing skirt steak, but it's a little thinner. You would not be able to do a big fat piece of London broil or flank steak. You can do slices, but the best thing to do on them is truly the scallops, to be quite honest. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to get the skirt steak on first. No salt. I'm going to drizzle it with a little bit of oil.
A little bit of olive oil.
Yep. A little bit of fresh ground pepper. Yep. And then I'm just going to turn it over on the side that I've salted. I'm going to put it right on the salt slab.
Oh, that's sizzling.
It's sizzling. It's sizzling. It is definitely sizzling.
And this is a salt block that's been only sitting...
This is a salt block that used to look like that.
Really?
Yep. And then once you start cooking on them, they get darker. So I've put it oil and peppered side down. I'll start with a little bit there. The oil is really there just to kind of keep it from sticking more than anything else. And let me just go ahead and do the scallops while I'm here.
How do you know when those are done heating? The salt blocks?
After an hour, pretty much. I really just kind of judge it that way.
At about 500 degrees.
Right, exactly. Now, on a day like today, this actually got up past 600 degrees. So
without even turning the grill on.
Got a little hot, got a little warm. So we've just tossed the scallops in a little bit of olive oil, as you saw, and we're going to put them on the other salt slab.
More sizzle.
Yep, definitely more sizzle. And this will hold the heat for a while. This will hold the heat for probably about an hour or so.
The salt blocks will hold it for about an hour?
Yes, they will. They will. You can actually, if you want to put your hand, I would certainly not touch it.
No, not touch it at all.
That
is like putting it right over an open flame.
Exactly, like an open flame. And it's a great novel way if you have guests over, picnic, you want to be outside. This is a great way to involve them, show them. Neat little novel way of cooking. I love doing this.
You're like a magician with this salt.
Well, what can I say? But as you can see, they're kind of ugly, but they do start out these beautiful pink colors. I love doing both of these. I've done this for a garden party before and served a guest an heirloom salad, served them peaches and goat cheese and walnuts.
On the salt block itself?
On the salt block itself. It's basically you're sitting at the table and I'm going to present this to you in front and you're going to eat right off of that.
And you think it looks like sorbet.
I know. Isn't it gorgeous? I love doing it
Don't eat the salt block.
No, don't eat the salt block. But,
tell me about these salt blocks. Are they readily available? And if they are...
They are readily available.
What are we talking price range?
Price range, $35 to $40. Now, what you want to keep in mind, you can see how thicker these are and how thin these are.
Right.
Eventually, they're going to wear. They're going to wear down because they are porous in nature, okay? So they're not going to last me forever. But I do happen to own several of them. So, but they start, once you start cooking on them, they get dark like this, and then you want to clean them. Now, to clean them is a little bit of a challenge, but not much, and I'll explain to you a couple of challenges there.
I can't get over the sizzle on this.
It's amazing, absolutely. But you do
Why does that hold the heat so well?
I wished I knew. Maybe it's the salt, maybe it's the fact that it's a solid piece of material, I don't know. But absolutely, and now you can see the scallops are browning just like they would if you were doing them in a saute pan. directly on the grill.
Would you like to marinate the steak and marinate the scallops before?
You know,
I know you put the
you can.
olive oil and pepper right there, but 30 seconds
You can,
prior.
but I'll be honest with you, I think for the salt that it picks up, I don't think the marinade is really necessary. I normally would not do it. I've done tuna on these. I've done slices of flank steak. I've done shrimp. I've done other fish before. My personal favorite is scallops to do on the salt slabs. I think they're great. But I love doing a nice little piece of skirt steak, nice and thin, easy to cook.
What if somebody is worried about their salt intake? Is it going to draw a lot of salt into the food?
No, it really, truly doesn't. It's very subtle. People are always surprised. They think, oh my gosh, I'm cooking with salt. You're going to kill me.
Exactly.
No, not at all. It's very, very subtle, very light. It's not very heavy on the salt at all. But I certainly do not add any salt. So
you've done scallops, you've done some tuna, some skirt steak. Again,
skirt steak
very
today.
thin.
Very thin. Definitely very thin. This is a nice piece of meat. This is actually done already. So we would take it off, put it on a plate, display it if you'd like. You can put it on the cutting board and cut into it whenever the guests are ready. But as you can see, we pulled them off, 5 minutes ago, and they're still sizzling hot. So
when you have the salad, you can throw those salt blocks back on the grill.
if I wanted to, but I like keeping my cold ones too. This is a beautiful presentation.
So these necessarily are just for cold presentations?
They are. Those
not
particular
for
ones, no. Now, they don't come that way. I could grill with those, sure. I could easily put them on the grill. But I choose to keep these smaller ones for my colder presentations. Normally they come in these sizes. Normally they're rectangular in nature and big. These are the ones you really want to put on the grill. These, to me, you want to keep more for the cold presentations.
All right, we're talking about cooking right now. Inevitably, you got to clean up after dinner, after your dinner guests leave.
Yes, you do.
And these require some cleaning.
They do require a little bit of cleaning. You want to be careful how you handle them. As you might have seen when I took it off the grill, this one was broke. Still doable, usable.
Sure.
This has a hole in it. How do you think that happened? So this is the very first one I ever owned.
That's the first one that you own, picking it up?
Nope. I left it in the sink and left the water running on it and walked away, and a hole came through from the water.
After how long?
Not very long, actually, because I'm cleaning up around myself.
It is salt.
So it is
a natural product.
Absolutely cannot leave water running on it. You want to spray the water on it, turn the water off, use a scrub brush, kind of get your goobles off, as we say, whatever you know on the bottom. Yeah, goobles, groobles. Get those off, rinse it off again. Make sure you have it kind of somewhat clean. Do not, under any circumstances, apply soap, because it is porous. It will sink in the soap. Then you won't be able to cook on them ever again. So it's really a water and a scrub brush, and then you let them air dry, and I store them in aluminum foil.
Store them in aluminum foil. You let
Yep.
them air dry.
Air dry.
Put them in
Definitely air dry, and let them. You're not going to be able to dry them. These are actually done. They're very, very perfect.
I know you're a personal chef here, Tammy, but tell me, how long will these last?
You know, I've been doing you guys here at TVR6 for about 7 years or so,
Yeah.
8 years, and I've probably had this one at least 6 years, if not longer than that. So they will last. I'm thinking they're going to last me probably 10 years. So
10 years.
I would like
You're going to get your money's worth for 35 bucks.
At 35, 40 bucks easily. And it's just like I said, it's a novel way of cooking. It's wonderful to do in front of your guests. My friends and family, they love this. I do it all the time. And this, I mean, just look how pretty that is. I mean, if you did that for a party.
This is wonderful.
Yes.
And when did you discover these?
2008.
So not long.
No, 2008, 2009. And now they're everywhere. You see them Sur La Table, Williams-Sonoma, Bed Bath & Beyond. There's the Himalayan salt slab that you can put in a grinder and put over your food. They're everywhere and in every kind of way. But I'm just more fascinated by this.
You're maximizing the salt block.
You're darn right I am. I'm darn
That's
right
why we
I am.
love you.
I love it.
Oh, Tammy, thank you so much.